Okay, here we are, episode 2 of the podcast of Audio Diary. I don't know I don't know if it has a proper name or whatever, but I'm calling it Audio Diary for now. Um, yeah, so I'm recording the video, but now I have my microphone set up here. I don't know if I should put it in front of me. I have my microphone set up here, um, so the audio will be a bit higher quality. Yeah, so the first episode, I think I really tried to like promote it, but I think this really is gonna be like a just me like trying to figure out what I'm doing with this thing because um um yeah, it's I mean at this point it's basically a nothing. Like it's just an idea. There isn't a website, there's a name, there's a sort of concept of like, okay, data is going to be involved, but what does that mean? Um and because of that, like um yeah, like I just need to like sort of put the pieces together and like, or rather sift through the dirt and find like the gold nuggets in my mind, if that makes sense. Um, so like now I have a, so I have like a little, I guess like I can show you, but I also don't want to because what if I show my room, which is very messy. Um, but I have my like sort of personal Jira board here with the stuff that I'm trying to do. And um, as you know, I try and do one thing at a time. So what I'm doing now is I'm setting up the website, right? Or I'm designing the website, and um, why why am I designing the website, or like what am I hoping to achieve? So the thinking is, so Amazon and Jeff Bezos and all them people in that company have a thing where when they come up with a new product, they call it a one-page press release, and they basically put all of the details and stuff of the product onto this one-page press release. And the idea is that that's the way that a lot of people are going to encounter this product for the first time. So using that as like a way of thinking about it, I figured, okay, let me design the website with this idea of this one-page press release um, um, idea. So in my mind, there's a lot of like documentation and writing and research and stuff that's going on, and it's probably going to be like, so I'm building up this like document that'll exist separate from the actual website, right? And then that'll have all the details of like my idea and like what I'm trying to do, but then the actual website will, I mean, it'll be somewhat straightforward and somewhat simple, but it will speak directly to the customer that I'm trying to attract. So um, so I'm speaking about this in very vague terms. I don't know, like, I don't know how to think about competition really because I don't think there is. Yeah, I really don't know anything about the competition. I haven't got to that stage yet. I'm trying to make my first dollar or rand or whatever. So once that happens, then I'll probably start thinking about other stuff. But so because of that, I'm just trying to keep some stuff like to myself. Um, Honestly, at this point, I forgot what I said in the last episode about like who the target market is, and um, but yeah, I mean the and what products we're starting with or what services we're starting with. But yeah, so anyway, just in a general sort of sense, that's what I'm trying to do. So I have this document, and then I have the website or the landing page that's gonna speak to the customer, and um, the idea is that obviously the landing page would resonate as much as possible with the customer. Um, how do you and then okay, so how do you make a landing page that resonates with your customer? that's the art and the science. That's the thing that I need to figure out. How do you do that? Because so I'm going to do all this research and try and figure out pain points and stuff like that. But I think there has to be some sort of experience in the space to understand that. So I work as a data analyst, and the idea behind this company is it's basically going to be a data science company. So I understand the sort of technicalities of uh, data science, right? Like, how do you go from just having a mess of data to actually having something that, managers and people who are making decisions and taking action can use to make decisions, right? How do you do that? That's like a whole, I mean, people have PhDs in this stuff. Like it is complicated. And for me to say that I have all the answers at this point would be a flat out lie. But there are some things that I know how to do really well. So those things are basically what I'm going to be promoting with the company. The question is, or the issue is, the things that I know how to do, will that be valuable for the customer? That's what I need to figure out. And if not, then it's like, okay, then I have a decision to make. Do I change my ideal customer, or do I change basically the service and product that I'm offering, either by upskilling myself or recruiting people to join me, kind of a thing? Um, but I won't know that unless I at least go through the exercise, use the initial landing page, or at least the thinking behind the landing page to maybe I'll run ads. I'm literally doing this one step at a time. I don't know if I'm running ads or if I'm gonna like cold email people, but um, but yeah, once I've designed the landing page, I will at least have thought through some of the stuff, and I can be like, okay, well, as I'm speaking to people and getting feedback, I can be like, okay, this idea is right, tick. This idea is wrong. Replace it with a new idea, or whatever. Um, Sorry, I don't know if this. I don't know if this is like jumbled up. Basically, I'm going through what I'm basically doing like a sort of a marketing exercise right now, designing the landing page and thinking about how am I going to communicate the thing that I want to do to potential customers. And then, so I'm just thinking through that. And then the next stage would be, okay, now go out into the real world and see what these customers actually say. And the hope is that on the first try, you get something that people actually want to use. Um, it's weird. Like, yeah, I won't say I have a lot of experience, but generally, generally with me, the first thing I do works really well, and then it tends to deteriorate after over time. Like it doesn't improve. And I'm literally just realizing that right now as I'm thinking about it. Like, um, yeah, it's like maybe that's a lesson. Maybe it's like, uh, Lil Wayne had the line, um, I know my shit already tight, so I ain't screwing with it. Maybe I'm screwing with it too much. Anyway, but yeah, I'm trying to like think through what um, the initial offer is, and then I'll have like a thing that I can go back to and then change as things go by. Cool. So it's a very academic process at this point. So there's nothing really to talk about. Um, yeah, what else have I done? So this a lot of the like way I'm thinking through this is based on a book I read called $100 million Offers by Alex Hormozy. He's like become really big on YouTube. Um, yeah, so I got his book, and I'm literally going through the one chapter that like speaks about how you sort of choose a market and then design your offer to suit that market and create a basically a really thriving business. Um, so yeah, that's so like I said, it's a very academic exercise. So I'm literally going through this book and being like, okay, he said do this, then I do that. That's what I'm doing right now. So the first thing he said to do was to find a. Actually, so I don't think I mentioned what the market was in the last podcast because I only decided what the market was after listening to this book. So the market is, I genuinely don't know whether I should say it or not. Like, I'm not, I don't have a offer that I'm confident enough in yet for me to be like, this is the market. Good luck trying to compete with me. Like, I don't know what the offer is, so I don't feel confident to be like, hey guys, look at this thing that I found that's so valuable. Like, come have a try. So I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but I did find this thing. Um, but I can tell you the criteria that I looked at, right? So um, let me just see if I can. I mean, this is literally just what he says to look for in his book. In his book. Um, sorry, I'm literally trying to open this right now. Okay, I've scrolled away from it, but let's see. Ooh, look at me making a podcast. Sorry, if you're listening to the audio, this part is probably going to be rubbish. Okay, here we go. So there's four things you want to look for in a market. One is pain, two is purchasing power, three is easy to target, and four is growing. So pain, obviously there's some issue that they need solved. I don't know if that needs more explaining. Two, purchasing power, they need to be able to pay for your product. Three, easy to target. Um, you have to be able to like find these people, right? Like there has to be a way that they all gathered in one place somehow, some way. So if that's like um, maybe a physical location or somewhere online, I think Facebook and Google have made easy to target like super. Um, that's like the easiest I think of the three of the four things to do. So I think if you can name this group of people and you can describe them, then you probably can target them at this stage of the game. Four is growing. That's self-explanatory. You don't want to be in a declining market. People are cutting costs. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to experiment with your new thing that may or may not work. So yeah, yeah. So that's the criteria I looked at. I think there's a lot of different markets that fit this criteria. Um, Again, it's a hypothesis. I think the market that I've identified is good and meets this criteria, and I'll be able to provide them with something that they find useful. I might be wrong, um, and yeah, it'll be good to sort of get something out there so I can start getting that feedback. Um, cool. So I identified this market. Actually, it's really nice because the the it's really nice for me because all of these people are like um especially on the easy to target thing, they have like a registration. What? They have like a yeah, they have to like register and get a license to operate. So if you go to the regulator, they literally have all of these companies' email addresses and phone numbers there. So it's just like, fam, it's like if you need to reach out to these people, you can. It's not difficult. And as a matter of fact, now that I'm saying that, I wouldn't be surprised if I get there and they've already had 3 or 4 or 10 or 50 other offers similar to mine. Um, so yeah, so that's why I'm going through this exercise to hopefully create something that's actually differentiated and not just a cookie cutter. Oh, you need data analytics services? I can make you a Power BI dashboard. Like that's not a bit. You can't build a business like that. Yeah, that's so. I mean, I've basically described everything that I'm doing now. Um, this weekend was kind of a I don't know, it was kind of a chilled weekend. I really didn't do that much work. Um, I'm really hoping to be able to reach out to these companies before the end of the year so that they can be like, okay, we're gonna chat to this guy in January, kind of a thing. Um, I was hoping I am hoping, I'm still working towards this. I am hoping to have my first rand earned before the end of January. So, um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we're still on track for that. I'm not really, I don't know, I'm not being too like strict with myself to like hit milestones in certain time periods. Like I'm kind of just okay, let's see how quickly I can get through this one thing, then the next thing, then the next thing. Um, yeah, like I'm kind of just enjoying the process in a way. Um, I don't know who listens to this. Like I know some of the people that listen to it, but not everyone who's listened to it has sort of said anything to me. So I don't know who's listening to this. Um, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't know if I should cuss or not. Because I don't know if my so if my mom listens to this, she'll be like, "Oh, I don't really like that you're using that kind of language." But there's an expression which is called GTFM, which is get the money. And the whole idea is like you just want to like you're not a business until you have customers who are paying you, right? You can't really call yourself a business until that happens. So there's that. So I'm sort of like sprinting towards that. But then the other side of it is like, okay, I consider myself to be a creative person. There's so many aspects of my life where um, I just have to like do the thing and keep, keep it moving kind of a thing. Um, so, and this isn't one of those things. This is something where I can kind of do nearly whatever I want. Obviously, I want it to be profitable and um, improve my life in that way, but like I also want it to be a form of like expression. So there's a bit of like, balancing those two things, like where you can make something cool, but you can also make something like profitable and driving creating revenue. Um, so I'm like sort of like, okay, what do I do? Like, and then another thing is like, how far into the future do I plan? Like, I really want to get like a do I say like like a future CEO? Like I don't want to run this business forever, but I want someone, and I don't know if this is smart even, but I want someone to like come in and be, you know, the like person, if this thing hopefully it lasts, right? But like be the person who was there from the very beginning and then far down the line can be the person who like runs the whole thing, and then I just like, you know, um yeah, I can focus on other things, so yeah, so I want to try and get that person in early, but the whole thing I'm thinking of is like, okay, what should I just focus on? Get GTFM, like just get that first dollar in, get that first customer, and focus on delivering for that first customer, or do I like design the business? Obviously, still paying like a lot of attention towards getting that first customer, um, but like do I put more effort towards that? And that's something that I just thought of like today. Like do I actually want to, like what is it? Like is it 50-50? Is it 80-20? Yeah, so that's sort of what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Okay, so I have like it's 11:30, so I have like an hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hours until I go to bed. So I need to work on the website and the like sort of thinking behind it for the next little bit. Um, yeah, so that's sort of all my thoughts for today. Oh, so there was one thing that I want to start doing at the end of the podcast is like talk about stuff that I'm like reading or listening to or whatever. Um, so Obviously, I listened to $100 Million Offers this week. It's like 3 hours long. It's very short. Really good book. Um, there's another book so that's like, sales and marketing sort of tactics and how you can like hopefully increase your revenue. Um, then there's another book that I've been listening to for a long time called Psycho-Cybernetics. I forgot the name of the author. It came out in 1990. What? 1960. Sorry, not 1990, 1960. It's an old book. And it's very much like in the self-help vein. I don't know. I feel embarrassed talking about self-help books. But I don't know. I think recently like if you know me, you know I'm really into like the history of companies. But now I'm putting more of my attention towards like self-help books because I don't know, I read a lot and I study like a lot of stuff. So I feel like I have um knowledge, right? But like the thing that's missing is taking action using the knowledge. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a confidence thing, maybe it's a um anxiety thing. I have no idea. So I'm sort of like, and I think this podcast is part of my like um trying to grow my like internal, mm, I don't know, I don't even know what the word for it is. Like I'm trying to like improve myself as a human in terms of my like emotions and my like thinking processes and stuff like that. So yeah, so I've started listening to like self help books. Jay Shetty. I watched an interview or conversation between Jay Shetty and Trevor Noah. So I'm getting more into like Jay Shetty and his On Purpose podcast. Um, uh, yeah, so I'm trying to like grow in that so I can take more action and be bolder and more risks, and just go for it, kind of a thing. Um, okay, so there was, yeah, so Psycho-Cybernetics, On Purpose by Jay Shetty. Um, oh, sorry, just on Psycho-Cybernetics. It's an interesting book because it was written in the 1960s by a plastic surgeon. So, so he, um, his whole thing was like a lot of people after they come in for plastic surgery, uh, obviously it's like a physical thing that they want to, I don't know, they feel they need to improve it, right? So normally people feel better after that, but he was saying that some people get the procedure and still don't feel better about themselves, and he realized that actually, or he felt that he should write this book to like help these people through their stuff. Now, I don't agree. I don't think a lot of the stuff that he says in there is like factual, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if it's like legit, but I do think it's a good practical guide. Like, it's like if you just think through some of the stuff that, like, so it's all like mental exercises and like try and do this, try and do that kind of a thing. And it's like if you try and actually do the stuff that he says in the book, um, it can it does improve your life or whatever. Like it does, in my experience. I have found it to be useful. If I just sort of suspend my disbelief and just like go for it, it can be useful. One of the things was this idea of shadow boxing. So it's like if you find yourself in a particular stressful situation, you just think through the um you think through what you would do in that situation. So I think for me, something that would be like a stressful situation. is what have I actually used it for? I haven't used it for anything yet, but I thought I felt like it would be useful. Something that I have been meaning to use it for is being on like a sales call when I have to like try and explain how I can provide value. So the idea was that when I get to that phase, I would then imagine and practice in my head. Okay, if someone says this, I'll say this, or if someone asks for that, then I could think about that, or whatever. So this idea of shadowboxing, yeah, yeah. So that's that book. Um, and then there's a book that I need to finish, which is called Maybe I Don't Belong Here by David Harewood. And that book is just, yo, I think that book is what started me on this sort of journey of like, um, um, trying to like reflect on myself and improve myself. Like I just came across this guy so randomly, um, whatever. But I started listening to the book, and it resonates with me in so many ways. Like if you find the book, give it a listen. Um, yeah, great book. Yeah, so I'm meaning to finish that. Hopefully by the next time I record one of these, I finished it. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Like I can't think of anything else. Oh, and then I watched Lilo and Stitch with San yesterday. Good movie. Good movie. All right. Anyway, I hope you're well. I hope you know have a good week and all of that. This is me signing out.